Have you ever seen Pumpkinhead?
No, I've never seen it.
Oh, it's great. We'll have to watch it sometime.
Yeah, we will.
Well, welcome everyone. I didn't see you all there. So this is something we just sort of slapped together at the last minute.
Slapping it together.
We talked about this yesterday. We said maybe we should record ourselves having a discussion about the newest film, Mortal Kombat.
Show the back.
The back has an Asian fellow with
an oiled up Liu Kang.
No, wait. This Liu Kang here, is he stronger than the guy from Bloodsport? I don't know.
Frank Dux?
Was that his name? I don't know his name. But that's a very
Jean-Claude Van Damme?
No, the Asian man.
There's a lot of Asians in Bloodsport.
The bad guy.
Chong Li?
Chong Li.
Nah, bro. Chong
Li was very jacked. This movie didn't have any jacked people in it.
No, unless you count CGI Goro. I would say he had an impressive muscle tone.
My name is Drew.
My name is Andrew. That's not confusing.
I will probably be posting this on Nights of Nostalgia's YouTube channel.
Excellent.
I would assume. But we are going to talk about Mortal Kombat, the movie 2021 edition.
Throughout history, different cultures all over the world reference a great tournament of champions. That dragon marking? I think it's an invitation to fight for something known. As Mortal Kombat.
Yes.
Not the 1995.
1995.
Which is fun. It's not great, but it's good fun.
Yes, I know that's not really a verbose reply, but yeah, it's I could talk about that one for many hours.
Which we're not. Well, we don't have all that much time.
No, we won't.
Let's talk about the new one.
Yes.
As a Mortal Kombat fan.
Yes.
I think it's fair to say we're both Mortal Kombat fans.
Of course.
How did you feel about this film?
So I actually, I kind of want to tie it into the 95 Mortal Kombat. I feel like the quality is somewhat similar the more I think about it. Maybe a little bit better, maybe the little higher highs. But, I definitely kind of had that people of our millennials of a certain area, age-wise, probably have that same experience where they kind of feel like they're transported back to their childhood, like 10, 11 years old, anywhere in there. We might have to cut that out.
No, that's fine. That's all staying in. No, I would agree. This film is. I'm all over the place with it. There's some things that I think it does very well, and there's a lot of things I think it does very, very bad.
Yeah, for sure.
I think editing's shit. I think it's McQuaid? Simon McQuaid. McQuaid. Simon McQuaid's first film. He did a little directing work with commercials, I guess, before this. But
fun fact: he edited this with the iMovie app on his phone. Apparently,
it does feel like that.
Yeah, it absolutely does. I can't agree enough about the bad editing being a real culprit.
It makes you wonder if a good editor in there could have saved or somehow made this better. But there's like so many scenes where you're watching it and going, "Oh, what happened just there?" Like half the time I couldn't tell where we were. There's no establishing shots.
There's no establishing shots.
There's nothing.
Sometimes it's like blink and you miss it, but then you rewind and no, it's just not there at all. It wasn't like there was. Where's Sonya getting all these knives, for example?
Yeah,
when she's fighting Kano halfway through.
Some people out there will defend it and say, "Well, you're not supposed to think about that kind of thing. It's Mortal Kombat. It's Mortal Kombat, dude."
Sorry.
It is Mortal Kombat.
Just fucking enjoy it. Turn off your brain.
But if all you're doing is zoom shots on people getting stabbed, we could just make a movie of that.
Well, yeah. I was like, look, I'm not. I said this on the internet against somebody who basically had the. It's not. Of course, it's not a masterpiece. I'm not saying it's a masterpiece. I'm not holding it to the standard of Citizen Kane.
Okay.
But I think we as fans of a multi-million-dollar franchise that has no business being slapped together. It feels like it's slapped together for a movie that was in production for almost 4 years.
Yes, I would say that when I initially heard the announcement a few years ago, I was like, well, this will be a generic reboot. It's going to be on the quality of like the Resident Evil movies, something like that. You know, have no interest in seeing it, and I'll just pretend like it never came. But when the big red band trailer that came out a few months ago, I was kind of blown away. I was hooked. I was immediately had almost that same feeling as a kid playing the game. You know, it seemed to capture a nice tone. And I think that's something we need to dive into a little bit, is the tone of the movie, the world building. You can kind of either go super silly, or I think we were both glad that it also didn't try to do like the Christopher Nolan, like super grounded, although I would say there's probably some influences there.
There's a little bit.
But you got to kind of establish, are you living in a heightened reality? Or is it just like supposed to be like the real world with some weird things that just crop up?
Well, before we touch into the film itself, I do want to just give reference to that trailer.
I am Sub-Zero.
Whoever made that fucking trailer deserves a goddamn reward.
Oh my god, bonuses.
Because they took a movie that is probably going to end up being like a 40 to 50% on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm not sure what the score is now.
Yeah.
But it feels like a movie like right in that middle range where it's like, you know, hardcore
Mid-range.
fans may love it.
Yes.
But I still don't think it has enough fan service to be a fun fan film either. It's
there is a lot to love. Just I don't want to feel like, at least on my end, we're not just like trying to crush it as a very mediocre movie. I would say there's a really good amount of high highs. We've talked about Sub-Zero. They really, I'm in for sequels. I am in for sequels. I like the world, the idea. They just need to clean it up a bit.
If this would have set up sequels, I probably I guess it kind of does.
Johnny Cage. Sorry, spoiler.
I guess from here on in, spoilers.
So the plot, well, actually, again, the trailer, it was great to watch, but I think it's also one of the things that's going to hurt people when they watch the movie the first time is there should be a big scroll across the top of the frame that says, the tournament does not happen in this movie.
Yeah.
Because you will spend the entire movie waiting for the Mortal Kombat, as it were, to kick off, and it never happens. And I think that
about an hour into it, I was kind of like, I guess we're not doing the tournament because we would have been there by
now. You're checking your
35
watch.
minutes left in the movie, and we are not at the tournament at all.
No, we're in a looks like a back lot of a Kmart, the Temple of Light.
Are you saying it was a set?
Yes. Yeah, I believe I'm leaning into that a little bit. So. Yeah, no spoilers there. Temple of Light. Of course, it's going to make an appearance.
I guess technically the Mortal Kombat not happening is a bit of a spoiler, but it's
a spoiler that everyone should have going into it.
That's a caveat that you should know going into it.
Because I think that will hurt some people's enjoyment of the movie. You keep waiting for things to line up, and while there is some, they're definitely telling their own story here. It feels like there was a meeting in a boardroom somewhere where it's like, how many films can we get out of this Mortal Kombat franchise? So they want to have the one that's like the prequel, as it were. So this is kind of what they're going for here. You can kind of tell that like the defeats are temporary that happen in the movie, as are the victories. It's kind of, you're hooked into the world. And I think that's, again, very important that people know going into it. So you don't have like, these expectations that won't be met. As far as that, I thought the movie, again, I thought without getting into all those spoilers, it really set a tone that I'm interested in. It had some unique takes. Sub-Zero's amazing.
Watch out for Sub-Zero.
There's a mix of some great acting and some bad acting. Throughout, or at least maybe underwritten roles. There's no one that's really on the level of some of the bad acting in the original movie.
Give it up, baby. I've studied all your moves.
Yeah, study this!
Or not to say anything of Annihilation, which is, up there with Troll 2. I think a lot of people would...
Release your instincts in the bathroom.
Are you nuts? You trying to turn me into a homo?
Say.
Annihilation is it's not a Troll 2.
If my father discovers you here, You cut off your little nuts and eat them.
But it's I haven't seen it since I was a kid. It's I would say it's
Sindel.
It's on more of a par of X-Men 3 for me, where it's just too much crap going on. Like they were just trying to squeeze in as many characters as they could. Rain was in there for like a hot second.
Rain. This will never happen again.
It will never happen again.
Rain was in there.
Just to get hit with a sledgehammer.
Cyrax, Sector.
Sector, I don't think Sector was in there. Cyrax was, but he shows up for one scene to do something. Every character has like 5 seconds to shine. And
Yeah.
the plot is nonsensical, and it's like Shao Kahn's doing something. We have to stop the bad guy.
Hey, who cares if it makes any sense?
Jax's arms just pop right off.
But realistically, it's really no different than the plot of this film. This film, I'm just like, what are we doing here? So without going too deep into spoilers, I mean, what you basically have is like a pseudo hero's journey.
This is an appetizer.
It's a whore's divorce.
It's a whore's divorce for a hopefully a tasty entree down the line,
or maybe not even a whore's divorce, an amuse-bouche, like a little
mouth amuser.
It's a little quail egg on a spoon that we eat before the appetizer.
Right.
But if that's the case, then they really should have been world building. They should have been establishing the tournament. That we needed something. They talk about the tournament. There is a tournament. It's just not in this movie.
Looking back, the movie does feel rushed. Again, with the editing, I think it could have had more time to breathe with some world building, establish what Outworld is, establish what the reality of this current Earth is. Like, people just, there's men shooting fire out of their hands. What's that?
Okay, that's far enough, MC Hammer.
It's an Arcana. Okay, tell me more about that. How does that work?
And the Arcana... so the Arcana thing is fun, but...
Yes.
Laser beam! It's better than fireballs, you pussy!
So first off, what would you say you were expecting from this film? A reimagining of the original film?
So I kind of took it... They were going a little grittier, a little bit more adult version of kind of the original story from like the original game, the 95 movie, kind of a reimagining, but like
maybe take the original story and kind of twist it a bit.
Yeah, and I also think that there's people probably realized the audience for that when that game came out. These are adults now,
yeah. So
let's give them that thing that they loved when they were kids, but give them it in the way that they can feel almost like it's like a respectable film, which it's there's some fun action and everything like that, but it's not as you said, it's not Citizen Kane. There's no Rosebud.
They're eating her, and then they're going to eat me. Oh my god!
Probably not getting nominated for Best Picture.
Anybody who's trying to get too crazy with how bad the film is and hold it to some sort of high level like that is like you're barking up the wrong tree.
No.
It is Mortal Kombat, but what this movie needed was more fun.
Yes,
it needed more. There's one awesome scene in like about the halfway point or whatever where Kung Lao maliciously murders a man with the hat, or a lady with the hat, with wings.
A demon lady,
and it's filled with this crazy gore and it's cartoony.
Yes,
and that's what you want.
Yes.
You want cartoony violence in this movie. But you also want a little bit of adventure in there.
You do.
Just like in the original movie. The whole
Yes.
like going to the island thing, this exotic location. That's all great stuff. Even though the movie itself is kind of but
it sounds weird to say, but just like life, sometimes it didn't have enough tropical beaches.
Yeah.
It really could have used like a touch of that exotic. The Kung Lao death, I think I mentioned earlier, there's definitely like a Sam Raimi vibe as the blood hits Kung Lao in the face. It's a really nice moment, and there's a lot of nice moments in the movie. Like
individual scenes have some great stuff.
Yes.
Kano is great as comic relief.
Connor.
Kung Lao has a little bit of comic relief, which is great.
Yeah, Kung Lao's great. Conor McGregor, Kano McGregor. Whatever you want to call him.
Which we discussed. I think that's some sort of influence on the actor.
He definitely seemed to have that vibe. Like an Australian.
They should have just got him.
They should have just got him to play Kano.
I don't know how well he's an
missed
acting,
opportunity.
But like, so let's just go through the basic plot
Yes.
of this film first. We are introduced in the prologue, essentially, of the famous scene that is Sub-Zero killing Scorpion's family.
Yes.
Amazing scene.
Yes.
And it's like you were expecting great shit from this film after that scene, because it's tragic, but it's heartwarming, but it's filled with that violent crap that these fans of the series love. You know.
What specifically did you find heartwarming about that scene?
Heartwarming. Well, when
no, the interaction with the family,
the interaction with the family, like setting up the death. Then.
Right.
That's the death itself is not heartwarming, but the little moments that Scorpion has with his kid,
getting the water bucket,
and then Raiden rescuing the baby.
Yes, absolutely,
good stuff. Unfortunately, nothing really happens after this scene.
That is probably the only scene in the movie that has kind of a like mythic quality that.
It's like fate. He's intervening on fate.
Yes.
Because Sub-Zero would have killed everyone.
Right.
But Raiden is now, this bloodline, because the prophecy.
Yeah.
But the problem is with I hate things with prophecies. I fucking hate it.
Okay.
Game of Thrones had prophecy. Fucking a lot of Shakespearean things have prophecy. Like, it never helps the story, I think, having a prophecy. Because it's always like, there's always loopholes out of prophecies.
There's, I'll push back a little bit. Sometimes I enjoy, I think you can do prophecy correctly. I do think it is more often than not done incorrectly, and it's about the loopholes, and it's like trying to push a message where, that's kind of feel good, but it just doesn't end up making anyone feel good.
Right. But like setting it up is like Hansu.
Yeah, you got it.
Hansu, and his bloodline for some reason will eventually save Earthrealm.
Yeah.
It says that in after it says Mortal Kombat, and it's like subtitled.
Right.
Hansu's bloodlines will eventually rise up and
it's something
win
about
the day.
The mustard color. It gives you
and then we're immediately introduced to our new character who is not in anything.
Right.
He's a brand new character in the series. Fucking Cole Mustard or whatever.
Coleslaw,
if you
mustard.
Will. And immediately we show a scene where he's getting his fists wrapped up in bright yellow scorpion-colored bandages.
Yes.
And you're like, okay.
And it's a hard cut from the previous scene. So you're definitely thinking he's clearly got some kind of scorpion connection there.
Yeah, you can almost put together as is he the baby or is he the descendant of the bloodline or whatever?
Right.
Because they even say somebody will rise up. So this is our new character, fine. And he's like a shit fighter, and they're...
I think they're going for a Rocky thing, he's all heart.
Yeah, because his manager's yelling at him. He's like, it's called a fight. That means you're attacking and defending. You're not just supposed to be swinging punches like an asshole. And
he fights Spider Ego.
He fights a guy and he loses. So we're established okay, he's not a great fighter, but he's a scrapper. He always gets back up.
He's gritty.
He always gets back up. Enter Jax.
Jax.
Don't know why he's there.
He is there because
apparently he knows about the tattoo on him.
It's not a birthmark, Cole. It means you've been chosen.
They're assembling a team of tattooed people.
But how do they know he has it?
People. They know
That's
because...
not in the movie.
Well, it's alluded to because Jax is a big fan of amateur MMA fights.
Okay, yeah.
And no, it's
not. He's there. He is watching him fight, and he looks like he's getting into it. He's like, yeah. When he taps out, he's disappointed. He's like, oh,
he's disappointed. Well, and you can think about that. You're wondering, so we do find out that the Dragon Mark is basically Earthrealm's chosen people. We don't find out who's chosen and why, and we find out that the mark is transferable. So
we get a shitload. This movie is hard exposition for a solid 3 to 4 minutes, and they throw it at you in giant waves.
Yeah,
and then a lot of nonsense, and then more exposition, and then a lot of nonsense, and there's the story doesn't have a chance to naturally get there.
This movie is definitely, it's when a big film will they'll do an animated prequel, 20-minute prequel or something like that to kind of lead into it that maybe a third of the original audience watches. This is that movie to, I'm assuming, Mortal Kombat 2. Hopefully, if they make it, because it's kind of frustrating in that sense. You get some nice fighting, but as far as telling a story, it's all wait till the next one.
Right. It's I don't know. It's so jarring.
Yeah.
Because then we go from okay, here's our main character now. He's a scrappy fighter, but he doesn't win a lot. He meets Jax, and Jax is just like, hey, do better next time. And then you find out his daughter and wife don't like his lifestyle of being a fighter, but he's got to fight because I don't know if it puts money on the food on the table or whatever. But then Sub-Zero shows up in the streets,
as he does,
as he's one to do, because we get a scene where Shang Tsung is like just telling Sub-Zero, hunt down all of Earth's warriors, because then the tournament will be like a default win. Then if we kill all Earth's warriors now, there won't be a need for a tournament or something like that.
Well, again, this goes back to the marking. Are these people the marking? Are they supposed to be the best warriors? Is that why Jax is watching Cole get his ass kicked and he's like, oh, like we're screwed?
Later on, Raiden like looks at them all and it's like, this is what I'm working with, or whatever.
Yeah, there might be an outcome where they kill all the people with the dragon markings, like, oh, we win, and whoever gets them is like way better fighters, because it's clearly not just like.
But if you kill somebody, does somebody else randomly just get the marking then, or
does it repopulate? Does it respawn?
I don't know, because this movie doesn't answer these kind of questions.
We're asking questions that no one who was writing the movie was thinking.
There's a lot of people out there that don't care about these answers either.
Right,
but,
for sure.
Like that makes any sense. Hey, who cares if it makes any sense?
But it's. If you're going to establish this whole like warrior mark, fate choosing you kind of thing,
yes,
these are the answers you need.
Yeah, for sure.
If you're not like, it just feels lazy if you don't know what's happening, like from a writer's standpoint.
They never establish like what makes someone special in this universe.
So either way,
the Force, the Arcana.
While after Cole's defeat, he's going out for some ice cream with his family, and it starts snowing.
Yeah,
and like there's a moment where everyone's like, "Oh, it's snowing," and it's like kind of happy. And then, like, the wife kind of, like, grimaces and is like, it's July. You know?
Right.
And then that's when it dawns on everyone else, like, you're right, it is July. When does it snow? And then cut to Sub-Zero. And he does this awesome fucking thing where he's just like, and he brings up all the condensation in the air and all the snow, and then he smashes it down like meteorites onto the general public. And people are dying left and right, and Cole and his family are like, oh, we gotta get the fuck out of here, we don't know what's going on. And then Jax just rolls up. Get in, like, come with me if you want to live.
Come with me if you want to live.
Like, straight up. And it's just like Terminator then.
Come with me if you want to live.
Yes.
Where we get this driving scene where Jax is driving Cole and his family.
And then Sub-Zero starts running really fast.
But we didn't get that. We should have, though.
We should have.
And he starts, like, he creates, like, ice, like, ski things.
Yeah.
And he's just, like, starts sliding down the fucking road, like catching up to the car. You know, that would have been fucking great.
That would have been the move, yeah.
No, but, like we're getting this, like, fast-paced action scene.
Right.
Mixed with Jax just throwing out the exposition to our characters.
By the way,
this is what's happening.
Your birthmark means you got to fight people.
You've been chosen. It's fate. You know, and it's just like when what's his name gets Sarah Connor into the car. And
no fate but what we make. Yeah.
No fate but what we make. Yeah. But then Jax, before he can explain everything, says, "Look for my partner Sonya Blade. She knows what's going on."
Right.
And Sub-Zero shows up and he's like, "I'll take Mr. Freeze. You get out of here."
Nice to see you.
And then Sub-Zero runs into a warehouse and Jax chases after him.
Yeah.
Not sure why. They're trying to get away from Sub-Zero, but Jax follows him in, and we get the from the trailer the fucking arm ripping scene, which is sweet.
When we got there, it tore through our unit in seconds.
Also,
and we all know what's going to happen. We all know what's going to happen.
We know it's going to happen. But the actual fight, and there's some other effect shots layered in there. Everything they do with Sub-Zero in this opening part is amazing. There's definitely some horror movie touches.
Yeah.
Like
once again, Sam Raimi. If set to direct, Sam Raimi, call us. We've got some ideas.
Listen, if our stocks pop off and we're financing the next Mortal Kombat movie, we're calling you Sam.
Okay.
We're getting you on the horn.
We're getting you in on this.
Listen, had you been waiting for Sub-Zero to attack a diner? Is that what you wanted to see in this flick? I didn't think about it at the time.
The runtime of this movie isn't crazy long, but
right.
I feel like those 5 minutes could have been spent doing something better.
So I kind of reminds me of, for people out there who have seen Jurassic Park 2, the ending is, so the prior movie and a half is set up on this island, and it's kind of like this primordial thing. And then at the very end, oh, here's a T-Rex running through San Diego. And I kind of got that vibe from this, because it's these like supernatural, like ninja kind of characters that you expect to see in like a fantasy setting, and to see them in like Sub-Zero attacking a random diner, Goro in a shed, as we've talked about, a wood shed in the backyard. It's very jarring to me, at least,
because you never expect the big epic fight showdown with Goro to be in a woodshed.
You don't. That's it doesn't seem grand enough.
Would you say it subverted your expectations?
My expectations were subverted. I think you can definitely say that. It's like, do you want to see when Scorpion makes his grand reappearance and it's at the DMV? Like it's not what you thought was going to happen. It's still awesome.
Yeah,
you had to take a number.
You get this whole thing where your chosen one, or at least your warrior of fate, or whatever you want to call him, is now thrust into this thing. Jax has given him the story he needs.
Yes.
You're chosen. I don't know why you're chosen, because I saw you fight. You crap.
Yeah.
You crap.
Yeah. He should have, by the way.
I refuse to believe that there aren't some Navy SEALs out there that are way better at fighting than you are.
Yeah, if the Elder Gods are doing the choosing, do better.
Yeah, well, they don't even explain how people are chosen.
Right.
None of that's explained.
No,
it's just whatever. But then you after Jax dies, Cole just tells his family to fuck off. Like, I'm gonna go do this thing now. I'm gonna go find Sonya Blade. You stay back, because I don't want to get you killed.
His wife wasn't as nervous as she should have been. It's like, I got to go find Sonya. I'm leaving.
They just go back to their house. But, like, it's already established that Sub-Zero could find them at the ice cream shop.
Yeah.
So what makes them think that, like, another assassin won't just pop up at the trailer? Because they knew they were getting ice cream. They know where they live then, right? I mean, that's...
Cole's wife, first of all, she must have been, like, making money, because
Cole's wife is very understanding.
She's very understanding. They have a nice house. They're raising their daughter. Cole, all we know about him is his sole income is from, like
$200 fights.
$200 fights, and, we know he's not doing that. That's, like, maybe once a week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a lot of questions. Also, about Cole's family. I don't know if we should be deep diving Cole's family, but his daughter, the whole movie, I thought was a little sister. I like that. I don't know. Again,
this follows very much the same. Like, strangely enough, the comparison is there's Rise of Skywalker.
Yes.
You ever see it?
Unfortunately,
it's one of those things where they start throwing action at you, so you don't start asking questions.
They fly now
because you start asking questions. The whole thing, it's like pulling a thread on a sweater, and everything just starts becoming unraveled. Nothing makes sense. So like when Jax finds Sonya, he just does.
Yes.
It literally once.
Cole does.
I don't think this is. I'm sorry. Cole does. I don't know if this is an editing situation, but like he's just at Sonya's place, and he how all Jax said was find my partner Sonya. And now he's at Sonya's house, which is a trailer. And
does he just like hand her like his business, like a business card? Like
I don't know. And now Sonya's there to fill in more of the voids of what's going on, the exposition of, Jax randomly got this mark on him, and we researched it.
Yes,
we did a lot of research. She said that, and they showed newspaper clippings all over her like walls, like she was like crazy person, with the strings all attaching to one thing to another, like she's been a detective on this thing.
Why didn't they just assume melanoma? If you normally just have a new mark
you go to a doctor and go, well,
get the dermatologist.
It kind of looks like a dragon. I don't know what that means. Yeah, we'll just burn that off for you.
Yeah, no,
and then it's gone.
Sonya, great friend. She's in the library. She's like looking through old newspapers.
She looked back thousands of years worth of human documented evidence that says there is a supernatural martial arts tournament where the Kumite, where the another dimension will consume ours if we lose 10 in a row.
Right.
And we've lost 9.
We're up to 9.
We're up to 9. So
once in a generation.
I don't know how she figured this out. But she let Cole know, which means she let the audience know, because we are Cole.
We are Cole.
We are Cole. That's the slogan of this movie. We are this new character. We are seeing this with open, fresh eyes.
Yeah.
Which brings me to the point of why have Cole?
So, but I mean,
is it just a fish out of water character for the audience as a vice? Like,
I think it's a corporate decision. We have to have, we know we have our fans on the hook. How are we going to get these other people who get dragged along to the movie? How do we get them into this? Like, oh, UFC's a thing.
Because Cole's definitely not for Mortal Kombat fans. It's for getting new people in.
New people in, which I think is a misstep.
Yeah.
I think you can have the everyman, but in the original, Liu Kang is kind of your everyman character.
Yeah.
Even though he's a Shaolin monk, but you're like, no, he's living in LA. Like he's like, Well,
and you also get and the good thing about Mortal Kombat, the original, is it's quick and to the point, and it does what it needs to do with its allotted time. Like we get the little montage of like our characters being introduced.
Yes.
And with Shang Tsung manipulating them into going to the tournament. Now Shang Tsung didn't manipulate Liu Kang, right? He just manipulated Sonya with baiting Kano.
You're right.
And Johnny Cage by acting like his like manager or something.
Right.
Doesn't he show up like as a manager and he's like, you need to go to this tournament to prove you're not a fraud?
But it's his sensei.
But that's Johnny.
His old sensei.
Oh, it's the sensei. Okay.
Yeah.
But that's Johnny Cage's entire bit in the original lore is that he's proving that he's not just a fraud. Like he's not Van Damme.
Right. He's not Van Damme. Can you imagine like today though if like someone pulled The Rock aside and was like, hey man, everyone thinks you're a phony. You need to go to this island in the South China Sea, and fight people that way.
And you can only go via very old boat.
You got to get on a junk, and that's literally what the type of boat was called, is a junk. So The Rock gets on a junk and he fights people to the death. Like, is it plausible? No, but I like that character. Do you think that this movie could have used a Johnny Cage?
Yeah,
as more of an avatar.
Well, you need the Joe Everyman. I get it, which is what Cole's supposed to be. But why not use somebody who's already established?
Yes,
Johnny Cage. He's a movie star, whatever. So maybe that's not too. Maybe regular guys can't figure out. Using a Rocky type it's kind of interesting, and blending it with the Scorpion bloodline is also interesting. It's just they don't do enough with it.
No, and I don't think, a lot of people, I guess there's a lot of hype behind the actor who plays Cole, that a lot of people think he could be a star down the road. And I don't think he does a bad job. I just think the character itself is very bland.
I think it's very bland. He's just generic hero guy.
Yeah.
He doesn't even go through much of a journey. Sonya has more of a hero's journey than he does.
There's too much to throw in there with all the different, like, wild aspects of that world to then be like, let's, like, really do a character study on this new guy who's... he's got a family and he likes to lose fights. Like, okay.
But he never goes through anything where he all of a sudden should be good at fighting. There is no that overcoming inner strength moment. He gets his power at one point, the Arcana.
Yes.
But it just sort of comes out and he's like, oh, this is your thing, and he just uses it.
Should we deep dive on the Arcana for a moment?
Well, let's get there story wise first, because we get
Sonya.
Sonya is also established. She has a man in her living room.
She's got a man in chains.
One of those vicious murderers in the planet.
You have a birthmark. You go to a trailer in a random, like, it seems like a West Coast city,
right?
And she has the equivalent of like, not Osama bin Laden, but what's the Mexican cartel? El Chapo.
Oh, El Chapo.
You go to this trailer
up in the backyard, and he's like, he's gonna tell me something I need to know about this tournament.
This blonde special forces lady has El Chapo chained up in her trailer, and you got a birthmark, and
he's immediately throwing one-liners at you.
He's as we said,
he's funny. He's very funny.
And I both think there's some Conor McGregor in. Like, deliberately in the depiction.
Laughing-wise, the funniest stuff comes from Kano in this movie, and a little bit from Kung Lao. But
Kano's great.
Kano, everything he says, you're kind of chuckling.
Yes.
Even if it's stupid, you're still kind of laughing, and it's probably more or less the actor's, the way he says it.
Great delivery.
Great delivery, and some of the, like, at one point when Liu Kang shows up, like, when they're in the desert, he's like, he puts his like when he's saying something, Liu Kang puts his like arm on Kano's shoulder, and Kano just looks down and goes, "The fuck." You know, and I'm like, that was great. Was that improv? That couldn't have been in the script.
That definitely seemed like improv. I think that guy has a real career in front of him.
Training areas for the chosen ones. Oh,
Fucking whoops.
Oh yeah, he could have been Butcher in The Boys.
Yeah,
he would have been great.
He would have been a great Butcher.
So yeah, we now have Kano, who's just like pissed off because he's been captured. It's set up that he killed somebody with the mark, and that's why he has the mark.
Right.
And that's where that setup comes from. So even if you've been chosen by fate, anybody can just kill you and take your mark.
Right. They do set that up.
It's a mix of fate and
no fate but what we make, I guess.
No fate but what we make, yeah.
But I think that's honestly, and this goes back to your earlier argument about prophecies. They kind of they're trying to play both sides because they want to seem egalitarian, like anyone can be one of Earthrealm's champions, but they're also saying it's also fated. And I think you got to pick a lane, I think.
Yeah, because like some people are like just getting their mark from other people, but other people just have the mark or got it from, I don't know if it's from birth or what, but...
We know Cole's is from birth. He is established. I believe they make reference that he's the only one who's born with the mark.
Right. Interesting.
It's trickle-down marks. It's like...
But when are we going to get to sweet Mortal Kombat action?
We're not.
Well, no, Reptile shows up.
Yeah,
because
so
Reptile's also one of the assassins, as well as Sub-Zero.
This is definitely one of the things I think they most reference from the first movie, because he is, in fact, a reptilian man.
Dinosaur chameleon.
David Icke's has been warning us about reptiles for years.
Yes.
The lizard people are real. They're here. And they can camouflage themselves and have pretty decent action scenes.
You know what? I'll throw up a quick bit of the CGI from Mortal Kombat 1 and the CGI from this one, and it's
forward.
It's basically the same,
but better resolution. I think you have to admit.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it's both like cartoony looking lizard monster men.
It's when you see a game on the we'll say PS2, and then they remake it on the PS4 or 5, and you're like, oh yeah, it looks better.
When you saw
the same thing.
When you saw Reptile in the original movie, like when you were a kid, did you think that effects was the coolest shit in the world?
No, because Jurassic Park had come out at least 1 or 2 years prior.
Yeah, and it's seamless.
And we thought that's just how CGI was going to be. And we came to find out over the last 25 years that it's
that was a mix
like
of
that some of the time.
That was a mix of CGI and animatronics.
And practical, yeah. But
it was a blend of...
But so well done.
Whereas Reptile was just 100% CGI monster.
Do you...
Until Liu Kang throws him into a statue, which tentacles him into the stomach.
Yes.
And then he becomes a ninja for 5 minutes.
The Mortal Kombat announcer says, Reptile.
Reptile. It's so great. When I was a kid, Reptile was my favorite character.
I can tell that.
I liked Reptile a lot.
You love Reptile.
Because me and my cousins would play Mortal Kombat 1 on like the Sega Genesis and the arcade a lot. And one of the coolest fucking things I ever seen in my entire life, and this is going to sound lame, but Reptile randomly like jumped down before a match and like said something.
Yeah.
And I was like,
he talks
smack. I was like 5 years old or something. I was really young. And I was like, well, who the fuck is that guy? Why is that a green scorpion? Where's he at?
Scorpion.
And we never knew. Like for years, never heard about that again. Like I remember seeing him jump down a few other times saying stuff, but not until I got the game on Super Nintendo years later from the arcade was he's a hidden character that you have to fight in the pit.
And the original, he has like the moves of all the other ninja characters.
He has the harpoon, he has the freeze, he has the slide, yeah. And you fight him at the bottom of the pit. But he was the first ever hidden character.
Yeah, and
in a fighting game.
They never leaned into that, like the amalgam thing. They kind of just like, no, he is his own character.
In fact, I think in the original arcade version, when you fight Reptile, his name even says Scorpion in the bar.
Really?
I believe so.
Scorpion wins. Flawless fatality.
But one of his clues when he jumps down is like Reptile's my name or something like that.
Yeah.
And he says something. He says something about being perfect at the pit. And then he says something about a shadow flying over the moon.
Yeah, because it wasn't. You couldn't just get him on every.
No, it was a rarity to fight Reptile.
Yeah,
like you had to get a double flawless victory on the pit. You couldn't block at all, and you had to use a fatality. And something had to fly across the moon during the match, which didn't always happen.
Well, so this is kind of, to tie it back in, this is kind of the problem with him and Goro in this movie. They're very special characters in the original media, and, they're very unique. And in this, they're just kind of cannon fodder.
In this one, Reptile is just cannon fodder for Kano to do the heart rip.
And say, you fucking beauty.
yeah.
Which is great. I love it, but
You fucking beauty.
You fucking beauty.
Maybe it could have been one of those random ninjas from the 95 movie.
For a moment, I thought they were going to do a thing where Kano ripped the heart out, and he's like happy. Yeah. But then the acid blood was going to dissolve his arm.
Oh!
I thought Kano's like he was going to be like, I gotta fight, it's fucking hot, And then all of a sudden he realizes it's like alien.
Yeah.
Everything's acidic, and it just like eats away his arm.
Well, he does have the rake across the eye.
And you're expecting him to get the...
I kept waiting.
You're waiting for him to get the eye plate.
I was like, how are they going to do like the endoskeleton underneath?
Why didn't they just give it to him after he opens his power?
Well, I was going to say, because that's exactly right. Because I was going to say it'd be weird for him to just grow metallic parts as a power, but we clearly see that happen to another character. Yeah.
We'll get to Jax.
Who I think we both agree we very much enjoyed the performance.
After Reptile fight
and his puny arms.
After the Reptile fight, Sonya, Kano, and Mr. Slaw are talking about what to do next, and Sonya knows about the temple. She knows that they need to get to the temple.
Temple of Light.
The Temple of Light.
Buddhism apparently
has no clue where it is, despite the fact that she's figured out everything else. The fact that the tournament even exists.
How do you feel about this movie revealing, though, that Buddhism apparently was the right of religion all along?
Buddhism was the right.
The Buddhists were right.
No, and that's fair. They're very nice. That makes a lot of sense. But Kano just blurts out, "Oh, I know where it is because I've run guns through there all the time." I mean, like the Temple of Light, like that. Like he knows where it is. He's done some sort of shoddy work there in the past.
He has Google Maps.
And then it's established like, oh, I've also got a plane, mate. And so Sonya and Cole are just like, well, let's go with Kano. And then
he's really the Tony Stark.
He was the prisoner at the time.
Yeah.
Now that he's killed Reptile, we're just going to let him walk around freely, even though he's known to be a mass murderer / terrorist / whatever. Either way, they get into a plane. They hop out of said plane into the middle of the desert,
right?
With the parachutes, and Kano's got like a really crappy little GPS that he's pretending like he knows where he's going, but he's like banging on it, and he's like, fuck, I don't know where we're going.
Right.
And then then Sonya fights him for a little second, gets the one up on him.
Yes.
And then he basically tempts her to kill him.
Yes.
But she doesn't. And he's like, that's why you don't got the fucking mongrel in you, bro.
The mongrel.
And then Liu Kang just shows up. He comes out of the sunset. He walks in, and he's like, excellent. You've all made it.
Yes.
And immediately shoots a fireball at Kano. Because Kano like pulls the knife out. He's like, "All right, mate, just and then he hits him with the fireball, and he's like, "What the fuck was that, bro?"
Which doesn't burn him, by the way.
No. Liu Kang wasn't trying to hurt him. He just a little blast. It was like
he's got a cold fireball.
It's a little blast right there, and
burns your eyebrows.
Yeah, and then immediately Kano's like, "Does this mean I'm gonna get a fucking superpower?" Everything Kano says is gold in this, because you're like, this is how I would be in this fucking thing. I would constantly be asking when I'm getting my superpower,
right?
Because you've all got them,
yeah.
And
you're hoping it's not a hat.
Liu Kang, like I guess they're only like a mile from the temple, because like Liu Kang's like goes into the temple, takes them to Raiden, and then like announces, "I've brought you the chosen ones," even though they were just there. They were literally right outside the temple. Like Liu Kang was acting like he gathered them himself from the world, like by I don't know.
He found $100 bill on the ground. It's like, look at all this money I made that I produced through my works.
It's so strange.
Yeah. Oh, like that makes any sense. Hey, who cares if it makes any sense?
And then then Raiden just immediately starts talking shit. He's like, "Oh, Cole, you're full of anxiety. You fear for your family. Sonya, you don't even have a mark. Fuck you."
You're right.
and then he just walks away. And then Kano's like, "All right, what's my fucking fortune cookies?" And then he just gets electrocuted by Raiden.
Wait, hang on. What do I make, Gandalf? What does my fortune cookie say?
And he's like, "You're weak."
We are all Kano in that scenario.
Yeah, like what the fuck is happening? And at this point, I'm like, what is happening right now? What are we doing? And then the next 30 minutes, we are greeted to Liu Kang and Kung Lao treating our heroes so far like a bunch of like fucking sophomores,
like
Lao
hazing them into the locker.
There's
wedgies.
They're just bullying him,
yeah.
like straight up. I guess there's a point, because I guess they're trying to piss them off to unlock their powers.
Yes.
So to get your power in this Mortal Kombat universe, you need to go Super Saiyan. A burst of emotional distress will unlock some latent power in you. I'm not sure if this applies for everyone in the world or just people with the mark.
I believe it's just the mark. That's why Sonya can't access it until she has the mark.
That's right, 'cause she does say a little gift from Kano.
Right.
After she shoots a purple laser at her hand.
As you do, yeah. But also, does this mean Cole has never been upset
But
prior?
what was Kung Lao's thing? Was it just the hat?
Yeah.
The hat's
he can teleport.
Did he? Oh, he does teleport.
He does the hat teleport.
But the hat comes back to him. So is that part of the power?
And that hat is like
what is this power?
It's made out of vibranium, apparently.
Like, it's a sweet hat.
It's a great hat.
It's the Oddjob hat.
And he can just turn it into a buzzsaw. He can use it to teleport.
Liu Kang's got fire.
Boomerangs. Liu Kang has
a dragon.
A fire dragon, and
Well, I don't think that's the Arcana. I think that's just martial arts.
Bicycling through the air?
I think that's just how they fight.
I'm a UFC fan.
You've never seen anyone do the bicycle
I've never
kick
seen someone hold low kick for 5 seconds and then like.
Round 1, fight. Wins. Flawless victory.
It would be amazing. I'd appreciate it.
I'm going to cut to somebody bicycling kicking in UFC just to prove him wrong. Yeah, so our
crane kick.
So now the rest of the movie is just them hanging out at the temple, and Kano, and basically they're bullying Kano at dinner and saying he's a baby and weak, and Kano gets so pissed off he shoots a laser beam out of his fucking eyeball.
They fight over egg rolls.
That's
important to remember.
Over egg rolls.
One of the big plot points of this movie is Kung Lao taunting someone with an egg roll.
Now sit down, shut up, and pass me a fucking egg roll!
Oh, yeah.
And that really changes the course of everything. If he hadn't done that, he would still be alive. Think about that.
The best reaction is Kano realizing he's got laser beams, and he calls Liu Kang a pussy.
Laser beam! It's better than fireballs, you pussy!
That was tough. Yeah.
And Liu Kang actually has a look of distress on his face. Like, he's upset Kano's got a cooler power.
Yeah.
Like, he actually looks like, oh, I wanted laser eyes.
Laser eye.
You know what? Kung Lao's should have established this, but it would have been cool if they just established that his power was like he can like grab things like telekinesisly.
Yes.
I don't know what the word is. Telepathically, just
telekinetically.
Telekinetically returns to his grip, and that's why he uses the hat. He put a razor on his hat to utilize that power as like a boomerang. So he can always throw it and just use his power to bring it right back to him.
So it should be bigger than
not just the hat. Like the power is like the hat itself. Which
the hat.
Is weird.
Well, maybe it was the hat of the great Kung Lao, his ancestor.
Oh yeah, could be.
I don't know. I'm just throwing that.
But then we get into the whole Kano ends up turning traitor. For some reason, he wants money.
We have to talk about the tough scene where it's like, okay, we're gonna get some Outworld backstory here. And
most of Outworld's champions are from Earth.
Half of their champions are from Earth.
The biggest one, Sub-Zero, is from Earth because he's speaking Chinese in the beginning.
So somehow Shang Tsung must teleport back in the 1600s China, or no, that was Japan because he was Sub-Zero Chinese ninja clan, which is not actually a thing that existed.
You're Can I just stop you real quick? You're making this way more complicated than it needs to be.
No, it needs to be complicated because I read an interview prior to this. Where the creators were saying that they were taking, when they made the original Mortal Kombat game, they had read a book that posited that there was a secret Chinese ninja clan. Now, ninjutsu is a Japanese art. Basically, peasants fighting off, people with way more wealth and power, etc., through using, their tools of working the fields and whatever.
The ninjutsu.
Ninjutsu is what evolved from it. So there was kind of we do have to kind of delve into this myth and our culture that kind of fetishizes the martial arts to an extent, it's almost supernatural. Like Shaolin monks and everything like that. So this Chinese ninja clan that supposedly existed invading Japan, and it's
you were 100% right about how we view ninjutsu. I mean, all the movies.
Yes.
We're hell, Tarantino backs so many of them where it's depicted as a ascended form of living where you can dance across treetops with you can literally defy the laws of nature through training, through your own personal chi that you can grow over time. Ninja Assassins. Did you ever see that movie?
Parts of it. They're just disappearing and reappearing.
They become the shadow and just vanish, and they can kill you in a blink of an eye. Ninjas are so fucking cool.
Yeah.
One of the first web pages ever when the internet was in its baby steps was called ultimatepower.net. And it was literally just a thing that some guy made about how awesome ninjas were.
I remember
it was just a tribute to how awesome fucking ninjas were.
Tom, Rocky, Colt.
Yeah, the three ninjas. With Victor Wong.
These fat boys up. Yeah.
They couldn't get Mr. Miyagi for some reason.
They couldn't get him, but he had that squint going. That was dope.
Oh, but he's just like a fat guy. He's better in Tremors.
He was much better in Tremors. But in our culture we have so this was big when we were a kid. Bloodsport, Kickboxer, all these movies. The Bruce Lee movies. I think it's safe to say a lot of people grew up with the sense that it was there was almost something supernatural to it.
Well, there's always the old wise man sensei.
Yes.
A fucking Splinter even falls into this
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Yeah. Great thing to bring up. But due to things, and I love MMA, mixed martial arts, but it kind of see that the magic is not real. When you see a man performing katas or doing these elaborate wushu movements, and then a Thai kickboxer just comes up and just punches them in the face, or
in the blink of an eye.
In the blink of an eye, or the Gracies who popularized Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, couldn't throw punches or kicks or save their lives, but they wrestle you to the ground and just strangle you out.
But as far as the film go, you need the theatrics.
You need the theatrics, but the Mortal Kombat thing is definitely predicated on this kind of Eastern mysticism martial arts thing, that there is this inner power. And I think that is one of the struggles in this movie, is that they're trying to kind of legitimize it in a way. Not legitimize it in a real sense, but for that world. But they're also trying to present the contemporary, like the woodshed, the diner, all those scenes.
Yeah. Cobra Kai does it better.
Cobra Kai does it much better as far as that goes.
I mean, that's karate, but
yeah,
still.
No problem, Sensei. You punch me. I have asthma, so... Not anymore. We do not allow weakness in this dojo.
Most of Shang Tsung's people are Earth people.
Yes, Cabal's there for some reason, even though he's a good guy, I believe, in the original lore.
Yeah, he's like, oh, Kano was
me and Kano used to play poker together.
Yeah, we played craps every weekend.
Yeah, I'll tell him you're gonna give him bricks of gold if you, or whatever. Even though I don't know if Outworld uses currency, but
Shang Tsung, his powers come from Bitcoin.
Cut to. Outworld uses cryptos, and that's why it's.
They're
evil.
all blockchain. Everything's blockchain.
So yeah, Cabal just says like to Shang Tsung, "I'll talk to my old buddy." Cut to him just talking to Kano in the fucking temple. It shows the little barrier between them.
Yeah,
which is funny.
Yeah,
it's like he can't go any further.
Right,
but he's like, "Hey, Kano, what are you doing, man? You used to be the hardest motherfucker. You were the hardest bloke on the planet.
Yeah,
and now you're working with Raiden."
At no point. Why is
and then like I don't even know if Kano's ever been properly introduced to Raiden other than that little shock treatment he got earlier.
Right.
But really, he's like, "Don't you want to own this? You can turn this into your own personal dance club, man. You want power and money?" And then Kano just goes, "Yeah."
It's like, you could make this a disco.
Yeah, you can make this own disco. And he goes, "Oh, okay, I guess I'll go break Raiden's staff that's holding the barrier up."
It's like, you're right.
It's in a room that showed. Raiden put the staff there, but it's also where Raiden like chills, like his throne is there.
Yeah.
But for some reason, Kano goes in there, Raiden's not there. So Raiden just breaks it.
Raiden just pieces out for an hour.
Raiden only shows up when the story needs him to show up.
Well, it needed him there.
We needed him there, but for some reason he's not there. Because if Raiden was there, then Kano wouldn't have broken the staff.
He's at that diner. He's getting some ice cream.
We need. Oh, you know what? That would have been an interesting character thing to give to Raiden. Like he has a sweet tooth.
Yeah,
that's one thing that is always good when you give like characters that are really overpowered. You give them like a weird little
classic
thing. Like he was out getting dessert would be a fun little moment.
That guy loves friendlies. He's always
he's getting a little like banana split, and then he notices like he senses the barrier going down. He's,
oh no!
Oh god! No! He eats real quick. Like
he's like
he's not gonna throw away the
better
dessert,
finish. Yeah,
but
I paid for it already. Yeah.
No, like in Death Note, you got L, who's got a sweet tooth.
Yes,
he's sitting there eating all the sugary stuff. And the trickster from Supernatural, Sweet Tooth. Sweet Tooth is a weird trope that you give to like a quirky
twisted metal
characteristic you give to like a character who's got like a lot of powers for some reason.
Yes.
I don't know why.
Well, you got to make them humanize them.
Once again, you're just having a reason for Raiden not being there.
Raiden's not there.
You establish Raiden's got a sweet tooth, so Raiden's out getting fucking snacks. But that's why he's not there.
Yeah, we're too focused on Shang Tsung snatching souls to think about.
Or fucking
where's Raiden?
Or fucking Kano like puts a trail of jelly beans to lure Raiden out of his throne room.
Dude, Reese's Pieces, you get the E.T. callback. Just lead him out.
Yeah. So Kano just decides to help the evil universe that's trying to take ours, and
because gold
or money or whatever. Cabal told him.
Who doesn't? All right, Cabal shows up. Kano's not like, who are you?
Yeah,
he's just like, oh yeah, Cabal. Even though it's this guy...
He used to work for the Black Dragon clan or whatever.
Yeah, he looks like Black Manta, though.
He does look like Black Manta.
He shows up, but like a real shoddily made mask.
Can we talk about Cabal's costume real quick? It looks like something you'd buy at the Halloween store for like $40 maybe.
It is...
a little kid would wear it and trick-or-treating it.
Some PVC garbage.
Like the weapons don't even look real. They look like they're foam. Kano, why... I still don't quite understand why... He's, you know what he reminded, like the jumping ship to a foreign alternate universe that's trying to destroy our universe is such a weird, like Kano's a bad guy, but he lives in our universe. You don't think he would want that.
You assume everything that he desires is in this current universe.
It almost reminds me of, what's that movie, the Robert Rodriguez Predators film, where, Topher Grace, the twist in it, he's like a serial killer, and he decides to sabotage everyone's plans on getting out of the planet because he wants to live on this foreign planet with the monsters. or something like that. Like
very impulsive, doesn't think it through.
He was a doctor.
He was a doctor.
He's also the best serial killer on the planet, apparently. That's why they chose him.
He also needed to get his head out of his ass, as his father would say, Red Foreman.
Oh, yes. Or he's way better in the RoboCop movie.
Can you fly, Bobby?
Clarence, no!
As Clarence.
Ooh.
than the father.
Mortal Kombat was missing someone melting from acid. As you alluded, Kano's arm.
They should have done that with Reptile.
They should have.
That was a missed opportunity. Random person should have been in that trailer to just die via acid. And just total disintegration.
How do you feel about, just sidebar quickly, who should be the hero of this movie? They went with Cole. We know the original was Liu Kang. Aside Johnny Cage, Liu Kang.
I'm going to go against the grain here. I'm going to think if you get rid of Cole entirely and make it about Sonya.
Sonya. That's woke.
Strangely enough, I mean, the thing is, Sonya's thing is catching Kano. So you can't... you'd have to rewrite the entire thing, because you can't have her just have Kano at the beginning. And you got to make Kano darker and not be comic relief then.
Yeah.
So that when she kills him, it's like a bigger moment.
You're happy about it. Yeah. I think most of us, we see Kano getting killed by Sonya, and we're like, okay, Sonya, good for you. But we're also like, but he can come back, right? Because him and Sub-Zero, the two best things in this movie, in my opinion, even though they're not my favorite characters going into it, they're both dead by the end.
Yeah. And I think
kind of, what's the hook for the sequels?
As a character, as a main character of Vice, you go in with I know the white guy character protagonist is not doing well in Hollywood these days, but I mean, why not have Johnny Cage?
Johnny Cage, I think we're both in agreement.
You said earlier Chris Pratt would have been a really fun, maybe it's the Guardians of the Galaxy I'm thinking of, but
you gotta have someone kind of like. He's
cocky but lovable.
Yes, cocky but lovable, kind of huffing his own fumes, if you will.
Yeah.
But also capable, which is not usually how that goes. Not just comic relief, but also,
Well, how do you establish that he's not a fraud? Because that's his whole thing. Is I am a real guy. Yes. The world thinks I'm. The world thinks I'm a fake because all I do is action movies.
Right.
And you can just use editing and CGI to make things look crazy,
right?
But I'm actually a real martial artist, and I want the world to know that.
Yes.
So the problem is his character arc is ego driven, which is normally not a good thing.
Right. Well, I kind of think I know you're not like an NBA fan, and nor am I so much anymore. But when I was a kid, there was Shaquille O'Neal. Shaq. Everyone knows.
I know Shaq.
Steel.
Steel.
Great flick. But someone who's such a freakish athlete, even though he is kind of a comedian, he's kind of ego-driven, he's kind of doing other things, that he's not like that singular-driven Michael Jordan type. He's still winning championships because he's just that good.
Right.
And I think that's like, you don't want that to be the ultimate protagonist.
Yeah.
But it can be a nice compliment.
But it's a fine character to follow with something that's supposed to be fun. Fun and violent. Johnny Cage can work as a main character.
Right.
It's hard though. With something with multiple characters that have a lot of stuff to do, you almost need a TV series. You need like a Netflix 8-episode thing where you build toward the you're building to the tournament, and then episode 4 or 5 the tournament starts.
Right.
And then you get the finale of whoever the champion is in the last episode.
But I see why they're going movie, because who would do an R-rated Mortal Kombat TV show where it's not Game of Thrones where it's all played very seriously.
Yeah.
It's kind of goofy, but it's fun.
I don't know. I think it would do well.
I think it would do well too. It's not going to be on Disney Plus.
You don't need to give it extravagant budget, but I mean, I want adventure, I want fun, I want violence.
It needed a little bit more Indiana Jones.
There is no adventure in this.
No.
There's absolutely no adventure in this. They're just hanging out in a cave, and then bad guys show up, and then they don't, and then they come back again, and then it's over.
They need a tropical island. I'm like, yeah, it's joking, but it's also you want it to look fun.
Yeah, I mean, like, you get weird stuff in the original. You got, like, Johnny Cage and the Scorpion fight. Everyone remembers that. It's great.
Of course.
But why are they there?
To my biggest fan.
Because Johnny Cage just is in the woods all of a sudden.
He's
and all
in
of a
the
sudden
woods.
Scorpion's, like, there and doing cartwheels.
But it's also that, to your point, that forest, you remember how interesting looking that forest was? How, like, symmetrical.
Oh yeah,
the rows were.
Oh yeah, the cinematography was great.
Yeah, and then when they're in the hell, like that wicker kind of construction. We'll go back to wicker later. That must have been. You would never. It would just be some bizarre like CGI hellscape. I feel like now, but it really the practical effects and that set construction. While maybe somewhat nonsensical, it was very like interesting to watch.
Yeah,
especially as a kid. And there was a lot of moments like that in that movie. And this movie was very like, it kind of looked like, I said this movie needed more Indiana Jones, but it reminded me of like, there's that, in The Last Crusade, there's that kind of, when they go to the Grail, it's this cavern that's covered, like it's actually a place, I think it's in Jordan, where it's just like carved into this, like basically this cliff face.
Oh, the Petra.
Yeah, the Petra. Yeah. Yes. And it's kind of like that, the Temple of Light, but the Temple of Light is just, it seems inspired by that, but very bland. There's nothing like visually interesting there.
Yeah. So we talked about how like the exposition is where it's weird because we have Sonya and Jax who shouldn't know anything about this.
I'm fine with Jax and Sonya being like, hey, there's something weird with this, but then it's like, well, this is, you know what I mean?
Like you need Raiden to go to each character and have that moment with each one of them, and like one of you will win the tournament. It's prophesized.
So you're going to teach me how to shoot a frozen ice stream from my hands, or suck?
No, Johnny Cage, that is not the
right.
And then it's like, wait, which one? And then he doesn't. He's like, I don't know.
He's like
because it's fate.
Yeah,
it's fate that you don't know who wins.
Well, Raiden doesn't need to be omnipotent.
No, just one of you is supposed to win.
View.
Yeah, like, and Shang Tsung is just like, I guess the Emperor is referenced somewhat in this. The Outworld Shao Kahn is referenced.
The Shao Kahn.
There's a statue. There's a big statue of him. But I think at one point somebody called Shang Tsung Emperor.
I think Outworld is really.
It looks like a wasteland. Like, why are they even there? Like,
not visually interesting.
I know our Outworld is supposed to be kind of desolate, but
it doesn't even convey desolate.
But I've always
fog.
I've always perceived Outworld as being like the Mongolian like overtaking
the steppe
universes.
Yeah,
like they just come riding in and they just take what they want, you know. And
in this movie, though, it looks like the old Shadows of the Empire game on N64. It's like you see here's some round ground and
a lot of brown, a lot of earthy tones,
a lot of fog.
Yeah. A lot of fog.
That rendering, we can't
get rid of the fog. It's part of it.
We don't know what's on the other side of that
fog. So once Shao Kahn, Shang Tsung has Kano destroy the barrier.
Yes.
All of his characters just kind of smoke in.
They smoke in.
Goro,
they look like Thanos.
There's also a quick scene where they meet Goro, where they're like, I'm so glad that Goro the Mighty has decided to join our cause.
He has 4 arms.
That's what I was trying to tell you.
I think that's after.
And is that after that?
Because I think it's after they go back. There's like the scene that's set up, and then there's the scene where they attack. Right. And then there's the scene where it's like, oh, Goro.
Oh, we didn't talk about Jax's arms. We need to talk about Jax's arms.
We gotta do a deep dive on Jax's arms.
Because a big statue is about to fall on Sonya.
Yes.
And Jax has these comically tiny mechanical arms that don't look. I don't know how they even made them work to begin with, because they look like it's just a piece of metal glued together.
They look like they were the shittiest diner forks melted down.
They had two. They glued like 2 shoehorns together, and and then like it was like something the best thing like some 12-year-old could build, like with an erector with an erector set, and they just like shoved it right into his gory stumps.
You know,
and
I think this will work.
And then there's a scene where he's like looking at his new robot hands, and they're clearly crappy. There's no muscle to them. They're just like little twigs, and he's trying to punch a punching bag. And I'm like, what is he doing? Why punch? What are you working out?
He is. He's testing out his arms.
He's testing out, and then we feel his pain. He used to be a very strong man. Now he's got these little twig metal arms.
He could probably do squat like a lot of weight. Like you still got those legs, but
yeah,
those arms.
Focus on the legs. But then we get the statue scene, the glorious statue scene. Fucking Sonya is about to get crushed, and I guess Jax unlocks his superpower, Arcana, or whatever superpower, and his fucking metal arms grow into bigger metal arms.
So up to this
not
point,
not even fleshy or anything. It's just full on like the metal arms we know from the game,
right?
Like the giant metal like. Gotcha! Boom, 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 boom. You know, and he lifts the statue up and he's like, yeah. It's like, so was his power to grow metal arms?
This begs the question.
No matter what?
If he hadn't lost his arms and he got his Arcana, what is happening?
Well, maybe the metal would have encased his regular arms. Maybe
and then he just rips it off like in Annihilation. He's like, no, I should have just believed him
myself. No, in Annihilation, he takes the metal arms off so he can fight Motaro better.
Because he realized he didn't need metal arms. He just needed a metal will.
That was the movie trying to trick people into thinking there was some sort of emotional moment there.
There was a lesson. There was a lesson.
There was something there. I don't know.
You don't need iron arms. You need an iron heart. You know what I'm saying?
This movie needed Michael Ironside.
Wow.
We needed Michael Ironside to show people what's up.
All I think of is him in Starship Troopers when he touches Denise Richards with his nub. He's like, answer the question when he's the teacher. She like looks and she's like, well, disgusted. Actually, we're a citizen. No, she wasn't disgusted. That was the great part of it.
Oh, she not?
No, because she notices, but then she just answers. And
I thought she like looks at it and goes, ugh.
But one of the great character moments is that she's not just like, she notices, but then she just answers. It's kind of, I don't know.
You.
They probably wouldn't say anything. Hiroshima was destroyed.
Well, in that movie, I think they're all desensitized because, like, that older generation in that film were all horribly
destroyed. Yeah,
from misguided government. I don't know what you want to call it, dystopian.
Do you know the book was actually written as like kind of pro-fascism?
Well, that's what the whole thing is.
Well, I assume the movie's kind of like a parody, though. It's like, yeah, pro-fascism. Look at these losers.
Well, Verhoeven is all about movies like that have like weird dystopian themes or whatever.
But the book isn't like, it's not like, oh no, fascism is great, but it's like, if you were going to be a fascist society, these are the good points. Like, which is neither here nor there. It's
an interesting idea. Well, we're
way deep in the weeds.
We're way off of
Michael Ironside.
Here's how you go from Mortal Kombat to Starship Troopers by Michael Ironside.
Should he have been Kano?
He should have been. How old is he now? He's got to be.
I want him as Shao Kahn in the next movie.
Oh, Michael Ironside is Shao Kahn. That'd be fucking great. Tom Hardy is Shao Kahn because he's got a mask.
I was gonna say he's just gonna be
Shao
talking.
Kahn always has a mask.
Wait. What does he say?
What's the famous line? He says, "You suck." In a few of the you suck, you weak, pathetic fool. And then in Annihilation, in Annihilation, Shao Kahn says to Liu Kang,
"Now with our side and your side."
he says, "Pathetic and weak. Raiden has clearly made you in his own image."
Ooh.
And I was like, "That's a dig right there," because he kills Raiden earlier. Yeah.
Anything is possible. Wait, Annihilation.
Find your animality.
Terrible movie.
Jade was in there. Remember, Jade was in there for 5 seconds. Nightwolf was in there for. Everyone had 5 seconds of the film in that movie.
I dug Nightwolf in the games. I thought that was a great character.
I never liked Nightwolf.
He's got that glowing red tomahawk.
He's got the glowing tomahawk. He can turn into the wolf. He has a glowing bow. Yeah.
You couldn't do that now. It's very.
No, it's too.
Or maybe you could.
Well, maybe the whole movie should be about him, though.
The Nightwolf saga.
The Nightwolf saga.
So what we're saying here is that MK is.
Why was Melina in this?
So,
but no Katana.
Fat booty.
I like Melina, but I like Katana better. We need Katana. How do you feel about Gal Gadot as Katana in the future movie?
I'm okay with that, honestly.
She could pull it off,
but if they're doing the her and Liu Kang thing age-wise, that might not quite line.
Is there actually in lore a romance between Liu Kang and Katana?
Yeah, but I think it was written in after the 95 movie kind of thing. But
use the element that bestows life. That's how you kill Sub-Zero. Somebody should have told Cole that.
So in the opening, when Scorpion's like, "I'll go get the water," he's going to get the buckets of water.
Wait, is that really?
Remember?
Yeah, but is that
why didn't they use that?
Oh, I thought maybe that was a reference.
It just occurred to me.
You need. He's like the wicked. Sub-Zero's like the Wicked Witch. He hates water.
Yeah.
You throw water on him and just bad things happen.
He melts.
So yeah, and you get Jax has his power. Cole has not yet found his power, so he just goes back to his family.
Yes, he goes back to his family.
Goro attacks in the woodshed.
So yeah,
Goro's introduced.
The Shokan.
He's introduced and murdered in the same woodshed.
Goro, to people who may be younger or older who didn't play the original game, when you get to Goro, you're led to think this is the big bad. So everyone you're fighting up till then is a human with some powers, or maybe they have some weapons. Then you get to Goro, and it's this 4-arm monstrosity, and the little bios that would pop up on the old arcade game would say, "Oh, this person is half a dragon." It's this race that's half dragon, half somewhat human. So you're thinking, okay, this is next level. He's much faster, he's stronger, he has all these powers. And then when you're playing the game, you lose a bunch of times because he is more difficult, and then you beat him, and then you find out that Shang Tsung is actually the big bad, can steal souls, all that.
Whereas Goro in context is the heavy.
He's the heavy.
And all action movies have a heavy. Like the one bad guy who's there, who's generally silent,
yes,
or some sort of trait like that where they don't do much.
Yes.
But when they take off their shirt and ready to fight,
he's the Darth Vader.
Gary Busey from Lethal Weapon. He's established as the heavy by when they show him in the scene. The real bad guy is like, show him what you can do, and he just holds his hand out and pulls a lighter out and just holds it in his hand.
Where the hell did you get him? Psychos or us?
I don't think you're funny.
I don't think this whole goddamn setup's funny.
Oh, hey, man. Mr. Joshua, your left arm, please.
Oh, hey, man, you guys are fucking gone. You know what I'm saying? Oh, Jesus Christ, man.
And he just stares at the camera, unflinching as his little flame is on his hand.
They never tell you that he was in a motorcycle accident.
Indiana Jones always had good heavies.
Indiana Jones had good heavies.
Because there's the big guy in the minecart area that he gets pushed into the steamroller thing.
Or
you've got the general guy from. Well, that wasn't the heavy. The heavy in
heavy-ish. Well, heavy adjacent.
The heavy in Temple or Raiders of the Lost Ark is the guy that's fighting around the plane that gets pulled into the propeller.
Yeah. Or the Nazi guy.
The Nazi guy in part 3 was the heavy.
The Nazi guy in part 1, the bald one. He gets melted.
Oh yeah, he just dies with everybody at the end.
Yeah. But yeah, I see what you're saying. But I always took, when you're playing the original, that he's kind of like the Darth Vader, and then Shang Tsung's like the Emperor kind of character.
Yeah. the old man, but Shang Tsung's gimmick is that he morphs into
he
everybody.
Morphs, and he also there's that kind of like damnation punishment. If you lose, he's gonna steal your soul.
His ability to steal the soul of his vanquished enemy.
Yeah, you're enslaved to him for eternity.
You're fucked for eternity if you lose to Shang Tsung.
Right.
Basically, all our heroes are fighting their individual like people. Like Cole's fighting Cabal.
It's paired off.
Jax is fighting. Who's Jax fighting?
Thor.
Thor. The big guy with the hammer.
Bobby B.
I forget what his name is. He wasn't. I don't think he was Chris Richter or whatever. He had a weird name like that.
He's fighting Robert Baratheon.
But then. Fucking Kung Lao wins his fight, but then like just gets his soul stolen. Then like he won. Why?
Yeah, Shang Tsung sits there, watches him.
Yeah, and then just goes
win this fight. He's like
telepathically sucks him in and just goes, "Give me your soul. I swallow your soul. I swallow your soul." You know, Evil Dead. More another reference to Evil Dead.
Hey, I'll swallow your soul. I'll swallow your soul. I'll swallow your soul.
Swallow this.
Sucks his soul right out of him in like seconds.
Yep.
And then Cabal like says some dark shit to Cole. It's like, I love it when he sucks his soul out. I love being there to see the lights go out. You know, and it's like, ooh. So he's like a serial killer or something. You know,
yeah, kind of.
Like Cabal jerks off while Shang Tsung sucks his soul out.
He's like one of those people who's like really into like serial killer podcasts. You know what I mean? Like he's not doing the killing, but he's watching. He's like,
well, it's like a potential serial killer. If he doesn't have that vent to masturbate to, he goes out and kills himself. You know, he doesn't like to do that. But
you need if he killed himself.
But you need to get off. You need to get off, Andrew.
Drew, if we're gonna go into the human species,
so then like Raiden's just like, all right, I'm gonna take like everyone's losing. Kung Lao just lost his soul, snaps his fingers. Everybody's in the void, and now everyone's like in this new dimension that apparently Shang Tsung can't get to.
Maybe you should have done that when Shang Tsung.
The second Shang Tsung appears, and you weren't too busy eating ice cream. Maybe.
Like, oh, our shield's down.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like he should have had some other shield that like kicks in if Kano decides to become a prick.
But this is one of the things where it's like, okay, if Liu Kang was the protagonist, I'd be like, oh, this is like character building for him. He loses his cousin.
Oh yeah,
his brother.
But Liu Kang isn't introduced until like 35 minutes into the film.
So it's like, why is who's Kung Lao's death for? Other than to show that Shang Tsung can steal souls.
Liu Kang is just a tour guide in this.
Liu Kang's a tour guide. Liu Kang, if you've seen interviews with Tobias and Boone, they describe him as the Luke Skywalker of their story.
Yeah, and clearly based off Bruce Lee.
Yes, based off Bruce Lee, but they eventually evolved him to have his own kind of twist. The 95 movie, he's obviously the hero. It's weird to see him relegated to like just the tour guide.
When in the movie, they give him the added thing of avenging his brother.
Freeing
his brother's soul.
And they go into, yes. And in the movie, they're like, oh, no, I was an orphan, and now I'm a Shaolin monk. And this is my buddy Kung Lao. And he's way funnier.
Yeah.
And his hat's cool.
Was the original Kung Lao in Mortal Kombat 2 a direct descendant of the original Kung Lao? And
he's the direct descendant of the great Kung Lao, the last Earthrealm character to win Mortal Kombat.
So when I was a kid... I'm gonna go off a little bit of a tangent.
Do it.
My parents bought this really crappy VHS Mortal Kombat tape for me when I was a little kid.
Yeah,
and it's god awful. I forget what it's like Mortal Kombat animated whatever. It was like a 20-minute long thing.
Like 3D animated.
There was some 3D fights.
I saw this.
And it's the most garbage thing ever created by a person. I'm gonna cut to it if I can find it. But.
Another real-life fairy tale? No, he is the god of thunder, the protector of the realm of Earth.
Oh, like that makes any sense.
Hey, who cares if it makes any sense?
You should care, Johnny Cage. Silence!
There's like a Sub-Zero and Scorpion fight, and it's just the worst thing ever.
For a brief moment, it seemed as if Scorpion's great speed would overcome Sub-Zero, but his opponent's cunning was more than a match for the Ninja Master.
But then it would go back to animated, like cartoon.
And it wasn't all cartoon.
It wasn't all. It would cut to 3D fights, but then it would go back to cartoon. Like it would show like the beginning of Mortal Kombat 1, where they get on the boat.
Yeah.
And Scorpion Sub-Zero attack them, and then Shang Tsung's like, my warriors shouldn't be fighting you yet. And then Raiden's like, your warriors. You sent your warriors to fight mine before the royal tournament, you know. And then there would be things where it would like cut away like Johnny Cage would ask Raiden, like, who are those ninjas, you know? And then Raiden would be like, oh, they are rivals, but they're slaves under Shang Tsung's power.
Yeah!
And then it would cut to the animated fight between, like, Scorpion and Sub-Zero, but it would be garbage. It would be the worst thing. Even when it was brand new, you're doing it too much justice.
Sorry.
They would show a Goro versus his brother fight. It was to show how Goro rose to power. Then they showed Goro versus the original Kung Lao. And Kung Lao, like his first ever defeat and death was against Goro. And then Shang Tsung took his soul. And and I remember like watching this as a kid and just looking over at my mom like, this is pretty shitty. Why did you buy me this thing? It's like, this is Mortal Kombat. You watch it. Enjoy it.
I like when they do the fighty.
It's like, look at it. It's nothing.
What's your mom's name?
Jennifer.
What are you doing?
It's a kind of bullshit tape you'd find at like a tree stand at like a drugstore or like a thrift store or something, like
it's in the dollar bin.
A grandparent like, ooh, my kids will like this, and it's like some video at a man at a petting zoo like, these are sheep.
Yeah,
you know, like in like sell our tape for $10. You know,
it's like when your grandparent,
old people are tricked everywhere buying this for their kids.
Yes.
You know,
they hear that you like, oh, he likes that Super Nintendo Mortal Kombat game. It's like, oh, and then they give you like a magazine. Mm-hmm. With like Bruce Lee on it, which is cool. Yeah, cool, but not the same.
Exactly.
So Shang Tsung
is a sorcerer. Necromancy.
He sucks the soul of Kung Lao. We have a little disagreement in that I feel like his performance I'm good at calculations. That guy, I don't know the actor's name. He is in The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
But I feel like
I go to Hong Kong.
Lao.
Where Gotham police can't touch me. But Joker called it Batman could get him.
And that's a squealer.
The television's so-called plan.
Yeah.
Oh God! Why didn't we watch that movie?
We should have watched that. His performance was very flat and awful to me. Although I'm not talking about his acting.
He doesn't have anything to do. Raiden doesn't Raiden say like you were the chosen one? The chosen ones. There's no more. It's you guys. You're what I have to work with. And then at the end, he's like,
we need to find
I will find more. And nobody questions that.
And Cole's like, oh, I saw a movie poster in my gym.
I saw it.
So he must be one of them.
Yeah, so like that third act is just nonsensical. It's just our characters, they escape, and then they immediately come up with the plan of let's go fight everyone individually.
Right. Well, when does the Goro fight happen? Is that prior?
Cole, after Cole just kills Goro by cutting him.
So they kill Kung Lao, Shang Tsung. Like, oh, Prince Goro, and you're like,
but he kills Goro, and then immediately Raiden opens up a portal.
He finds his Arcana in that fight, though.
He finds his Arcana, which I guess is a fine setup and payoff. But
what's his Arcana?
His Arcana is he's got wicker basket shoulder blades.
Motherfucker can weave.
He I guess it's supposed to be indestructible armor that forms around his chest.
It's Black Panther.
But it looks like wicker or something. Like, it doesn't look like it would protect you. And it also is a stupid fucking power to begin with. It's not a fun power for your main hero to have. You want your main character to have something better than just like tough torso skin.
Tough torso, but then he can redirect it. But that's also, like I said, that's Black Panther. And in that movie, I was always like, I don't understand when he's absorbing the power versus when he's just getting hit. Like, he can just redirect it. Why sometimes is he in pain? It's very...
it's all over the place.
Yeah, you don't understand quite the physics of how it's working. So,
but literally from here on, the rest of the movie is just... They go away, they form the plan. It's like, we have to fight these guys individually, and then we'll all deal with Sub-Zero.
So for people who've seen the final Harry Potter movies, they're in King's Cross.
I haven't.
Drew's not seen it.
I haven't read the book either.
These people, they're in the mist, and then it's Cole's like, now that I can turn into the Wicker Man, I got my plan for yins.
Yeah, he's now a leader all of a sudden. There's no arc or journey. He's just really good at fighting now. Why is he all of a sudden good at fighting?
The Wicker.
This is what the movie needed.
His will as well.
But that's not established.
Not.
You're now giving the movie more credit than what happened.
I am, yeah, 100%, yeah.
Yeah, so it's just like, okay, and then this is where editing is really bad. The third act is where the editing is nonsensical.
Like, we need to get this movie out.
It's basically like, Sonya, you fight Kano, because you guys have a connection for some reason. Jax, you go fight Melina? Or no,
he fights
Cole
Thor.
Fights Melina.
Yeah.
And then he fights Thor.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Hammerman. MC Hammer.
And then there's just a quick, really sloppily edited together montage of them in intercutted fights. Kano's doing his best to laser eye Sonya, but she keeps teleporting all over her cabin.
She's teleporting.
You were saying like maybe she has secret compartments in her trailer. Like,
you see her in a crawl space.
She has a crawl space underneath the floor, but at one point she cuts his leg and then crawls, and then all of a sudden she's in the other side of the room.
Yeah.
And she's not in the crawl space anymore.
No.
And then
she just appears either if there's an Olympic event, 100-yard dash on your hands and knees, she would win. Very fast.
It's very bad.
Around.
It's very bad.
It's bad. It's jarring. I kind of wanted it to linger on each fight versus just the hard cuts between the fights.
When all of your bad guys are getting dispatched in like this weird montage, it's like
it also doesn't make sense.
It feels very light.
There's no Cole's not like, hey, Jax, why don't you fight Melina because you're way stronger than her.
Yeah,
and I'll take this guy. I'll take Cameraman because I'm way quicker. I'll just dance around. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, no, we're all gonna
Sonya,
rematch.
you have to fight Kano because character arc.
Right.
That's what it came down to.
Right.
And then of course we get this is probably the best setup payoff is that she gets Kano's mark.
She gets Kano's mark.
Oh, okay, got it. And she gets the purple laser blast power.
And that's better set up than
and she just learns
turning
it.
in the Wicker
She
Man.
didn't have to snap. She just has it.
Don't call her Mary Sue. Don't you dare.
Sonya,
Don't do it.
Sonya didn't have to unlock it. She just had it after getting it from Kano.
You mean
everyone else had to go into a surge of distress. Oh.
You mean Ray Blade?
Ray Blade, yeah.
Don't do it. We don't feel that way. We like Sonya.
Yeah, Sonya's fine in this. I really wish that it was more about her and they would have went more in detail with her stuff, because that would have been a good hero's journey.
She definitely had a hero's journey.
The hero going the whole thing could have been about her helping Jax out.
Yes,
and then she gets the mark, and she's actually the one to save the day. That would have been great. And then they find Kano, and he's a prick. And then she ends up taking Kano's mark. It's like, oh wait, you're actually the one that's going to lead us into victory.
Do you think this movie
making Liu Kang also put in the back burner is so strange? I don't know. There's so many weird things in this movie.
I think this movie almost has the too many villains kind of curse that certain superhero sequels have. Is that it's there's so many characters. I think this kind of thing where our appetizer to the tournament will make this movie where it's just about everyone fighting before the tournament, and it's maybe it would have been better off to just do it almost like an MCU. We're going to focus in on Sonya's story, and we're going to do a movie about that. Or we're going to do Liu Kang.
Right.
Instead, it's we're going to do Cole, because there's all this weird stuff happening around him, but they don't really build him up to the extent where you really care, or that he's interesting, or that his power makes sense, or is cool or exciting.
I told you, his power would have been better if his snapping point was his power unlocked, and he opened up the portal to hell. And that was his bit.
Go into
and
that.
That's how Scorpion comes out.
Wait, start over with that. From the top. Cole's power
stupid. Wicker torso strength power.
Stupid. So instead, skipping ahead to his final fight, he has to fight. They defeat all their doppelgangers.
But Sub-Zero lures Cole away.
Yes.
Sneakily by showing his sister or daughter's little headband or whatever, frozen.
Yeah.
And he comes out of like the frozen portal thing and he shatters it.
Yeah,
and
hair
Cole,
ties.
in a fit of rage, chases after Sub-Zero, and the thing closes, so nobody can follow him.
Right.
So now it's Sub-Zero and Cole by themselves.
Yes.
And now we're established how dangerous Sub-Zero is.
Sub-Zero, we have not touched on.
Sub-Zero's a fucking badass
movie.
in this.
Yeah.
He fucking just kills it. His power is overpowered. Just being able to freeze everything around you.
The actor is
point.
great.
Yeah, he does a good job. Everyone does a good job.
His movements, but like he's by far to me the highlight of this movie, and I'm not a Sub-Zero fan going into it necessarily.
Yeah, he's one of the best things about it. But you get into this fight, and like you're expecting like the regular beats for like a fight like this, where our main character is now facing the big bad guy at the end. You think. I thought for sure, you're expecting Scorpion to show up. I thought he was going to become Scorpion at this point in the story. Earlier on, before we got his crappy little power, I thought his power was going to end up being he opens up a portal and Scorpion was going to come out of it. And that was what was going to save him from Sub-Zero.
Or I thought he would be like the reincarnation of Scorpion. Like
or something like that. Yeah, where the spirit of Hanzo goes into him and he becomes like the demon or specter.
Or it's like his past life memories are unlocked. Something.
Any of these would have been better.
Yes.
But instead, Cole just gets his ass kicked, and the kunai that Scorpion uses gets covered in Cole's blood.
It's a garden trowel.
It's a kunai.
It's a trowel.
It's a garden trowel, but it's a kunai.
It's a kunai.
But it gets, and I guess the blood of his ancestor opened up hell.
There's gene coding in the
kunai, and Scorpion comes out of it.
Yeah.
And when we get the cool like 3D shot of the fucking harpoon going through like Sub-Zero's hand or arm,
his arm,
or is it
like
shoulder?
right through the bicep.
Yeah, and the get over here, and then we're like, oh, I got to tell you, watched it. I got some chills just from that one little moment. I was like, oh, that was good,
Yeah.
Still, I don't know why he's here. I'm like, why is he back all of a sudden outside of just blood, whatever.
It's like a blood sacrifice kind of reference.
I guess.
It was just, Scorpion.
So now Hanzo and his ancestor are now fighting Sub-Zero 2-on-1.
2-on-1.
It's kind of unfair.
Not fair.
It's not a fair fight from the good guy's angle. Yeah. But they end up beating him.
They beat him.
Yeah, they just sort of beat him. And Scorpion.
Well, Cole gives him like he punches him through the chest with that.
He does fuck him up with his weird little baton things. It's part of his power.
His sharp batons. Yeah.
And then we get the Scorpion kill, the infamous Scorpion kill.
Yes. Which we both would rather have seen him just like.
We wanted to see
peel his skin off.
The full on like ripping of the head off, and then going full on Knight Rider.
Right.
And just obliterating. And I wanted Sub-Zero to become more of a skeleton, like just nothing but ash or something.
Yeah, he just got a little crispy.
But he just looks like he suffered from horrible burns.
He was microwave for 20 to 30 seconds.
I gotta say, one of the things this movie does do right is all the homages to the classic fatalities.
Yes.
Is all great.
Yeah.
You got the Kano heart rip.
Yes.
Okay. We've got the Scorpion kill.
You fucking beauty.
We never saw the Liu Kang cartwheel uppercut.
We did not, and didn't need to see it. The weakest fatality ever.
But and also we didn't see the infamous Sub-Zero neck rip.
We did not. We saw the fire dragon. We saw the buzzsaw.
We saw the fire dragon is even the other thing. The dragon thing is definitely Liu Kang's most famous fatality.
Yes.
Despite the fact that his first one was just a stupid cartwheel uppercut.
Because he's a nice guy. He only uppercuts you.
Kung Lao's I think it's his part 3 fatality.
Yeah,
where he throws the hat buzzsaw down and drags somebody across it. So yeah, all those were great. Honestly, we just need more of it. Like if the movie was just going to become stupid schlock, I wanted more of that then.
Right.
But there wasn't enough of that. Even when Kano like turned face, it got stupid again. You're like, this isn't fun anymore.
Right.
Because Kano's not funny.
Right.
I thought they were actually going to do like some sort of redemption arc with Kano, where you think he turned coat, but he did it for like some sort of other purpose.
Just him jumping back and forth would have been like...
It was like that guy from Indiana Jones.
He doesn't even know.
It's like
just having fun.
It's Indiana Jones 4 again. That one guy that is constantly betraying Indy. Mac, I think his name is.
Yeah.
But it's like he's constantly betraying the Russians and then betraying Indy, and then like he doesn't know which side he's on
he
anymore.
Doesn't even know.
Like,
that would have been hilarious. Just versus like, no, I'm full evil now. And it's like...
Yeah, Kano, what are you doing, man?
It's like, I'm not
How are you the leader
now.
of this ancient martial artists group of assassins? You're kind of a joke.
Somehow
you got bested by Sonya like 3 fucking times in this movie.
Yeah.
Jesus. How are Cabal's right. How are you leading at this point?
The martial arts mob needs to look into their leadership. That's all I know.
Yeah.
How they determine it.
So, end of the film, Sub-Zero just kind of dies. Shang Tsung, all the heroes are now reuniting. Even Cole's family got saved from the ice.
He punches them out of that ice.
He punches them out of the ice,
wife,
and they put a blanket. Cole puts like his jacket on his wife, so they're warm.
He got it like that, like reflective.
You're covered in ice. You wear the jacket. It's warm. All of our heroes are celebrating.
She lost 3 fingers.
Shang Tsung kind of morphs into the room.
Yeah,
by himself.
But he does the slow walk,
and he does a slow villain walk, and he looks and sees all the dead. Like he sees Sub-Zero's dead, which is his main guy, and goes, "You've bested my warriors." Well,
no matter how many of my warriors you put in the ground, which is kind of like, it's kind of like cool sounding, but it's also like, pick better. What are you doing? It's kind of an interesting. He's like quantifying his villains, but like Sub-Zero is supposed to be this like ancient, like we know he's hundreds of years old.
He's according to this movie, Shang Tsung should not be able to replace Sub-Zero anytime soon.
Right. Also, he must be a great agent. Or negotiator. He's like, because he took this hundreds of years old Chinese guy.
Yeah, maybe he granted him immortality. Maybe
that would make sense. Yeah,
we would like to see that in the movie though. Like that's what tempted Sub-Zero to join Shang Tsung.
Yeah.
Oh, you want to live forever? You be my champion.
Those knuckles aren't gonna be bloody anymore.
Yeah, I'll amplify your power.
Yeah.
Dragon Ball Z, the Majin curse. Yeah, it'll make you more powerful.
Okay.
But you're going to be my slave. Fine.
Plenty of people would fall for that.
Vegeta fell for it. Majin Vegeta fucked shit up pretty good for the fighters in that.
Did you say you were a Vegetarian? Vegetarian.
So if you were to get a sequel to this, what would
first of all, are you in for a sequel?
Off of this?
Or you want them just do another?
Off of this, I think we should just wait another 15 years and do it again.
So for me, I was bought into enough of some of the concepts, and I liked the world building. So I think there are certain ways you could have gone. You could have made it too gritty, too realistic, where it's like there's nothing interesting happening. You can make it too schlocky, which they kind of ended up doing, but I felt that's not what their intention was. I'm in for a sequel. I just want it to be tighter. It needs to be a revamp.
I'm in for a TV series. Like a
TV series is the move. Yeah,
because like you can build the tournament.
Yes.
You can like
every episode is
you can Cobra Kai it. Season 1, that last couple episodes is the tournament, and then
season 1 should be the first Mortal Kombat game. That first tournament. Season 2, then the Outworld invades.
And you can spend like one episode on every like 2 to 3 characters.
Yes,
and let them grow for like an hour.
It needs room to breathe.
Yeah,
you're introducing all this stuff.
You can give everyone, and then like you give everyone their own stuff to do in the finale. Like if Sonya's big thing is to just get Kano, you can have that go through into the final arc. Same with Liu Kang overcoming Shang Tsung and stopping Outworld. And then at the end, you can even add the little twist of Shao Kahn is not taking no for an answer.
He's not saying
he's not the kind of person you say no to on a date. Shao Kahn is coming. Shao Kahn is coming. Shao Kahn is going to come one way or another.
Shao Kahn's going to get what Shao Kahn wants.
Shao Kahn is going to Harvey Weinstein the fuck out of Earthrealm, is what I'm saying. Can I still say that? I can probably say that.
I'm in for the sequel, But the sequel is basically going to be a remake of the 95 movie, I assume. We need the tournament.
Exotic locations is very
beaches,
important,
bro. Beaches.
But also like paying. You almost have to Force Awakens it. I'm not a huge fan of those Star Wars sequels movies, but like you give Mortal Kombat the Force Awakens treatment, I think people would get amped.
Yeah, you know, just put more money, put more talented writers, more talented special effects artists. The fights were great in this one. I do have to say that the practical fights, great choreography, et cetera, you know, the cutting, the editing could have been tighter, but as far as the actual, like, they had the right, I mean, you can tell, like...
tone is important with Mortal Kombat.
And I thought the tone was pretty good. It wasn't perfect, but I thought it was, like I said, it could have been too... Like, could have been too corny.
95 is almost a little too hokey.
Yeah.
This takes it a little more seriously with the visuals being over the top.
Yes.
But yeah, it's the fucking writing, man. The writing is shit. The writing is garbage in this.
It was, you know, I won't say it was to me. It's not complete garbage. It was almost it's you know, it's a miss, but there's some interesting ideas, is what I would say. I think it can be developed further.
Well, yeah. I don't know. I don't know what you do with this anymore. I mean, I would love to see like the whole MK1 arc plus the invasion stuff happen. I almost want to say like something like this would work. Like you do like the
reboot it.
You do the hopefully everyone can see it and it's not glaring on the light. But you do the bit where the opening scene is like Raiden just getting fucked up by Shao Kahn, and then that's like the cold opening. Like flash forward. And you try and figure out what needs to happen to stop this from happening, where Shao Kahn wins.
Well, now you're making me think, what's if this movie had ended on a real downbeat, and then the next one opens with them doing what you're saying?
Oh.
Like, kind of like end it with like everything going wrong, or like, you know, the first move just being...
You needed something to get us amped. Like if anything, this should have ended... If you're not going to have the tournament, you need to end it with the tournament about to start.
I was going to say, yeah, you have to be... You're on the beach, and that first fight is about to happen.
Yeah, like everyone is walking towards the first battle.
And then you see, fight, and then just credits. Like, that would have been more exciting.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways you could have made this work. But everyone has to go into it knowing this is like the prologue story to something greater.
Yes.
And this has to be done better.
Yeah.
For that to work as well.
It does. I don't know if it was almost like... It almost reminds me of, like, this was a concept film. Like, let's see if we can get people on board. But they just went full steam ahead with trying to do that versus just doing the damn thing.
Yeah.
So I think ultimately we would say... Well, before we get to the ultimate, MVPs. What's your give me your top three.
MVPs in this movie?
Yeah, not just people, but ideas, executions. Give me your top three things from this movie.
The best things about this is the callbacks and homages to the original fatalities. Or you can just lump that in with just visuals.
Yeah.
Visuals are probably one of the top three, most definitely.
Yeah.
Kano has probably got to be one of them.
Yeah.
I would say characters, but there's a lot of characters that aren't very good.
You're right.
But specifically Kano.
No Harry Potter shit, all right?
And to an extent, Kung Lao I think is very good.
Kung Lao's great.
Well, I would say Sub-Zero is good, but he doesn't have much of a character other than just bad guy.
He's a well-executed bad guy who we...
Like, he has a little bit of things to say in the opening scene, but he's basically just strong, silent type.
Right.
The whole movie. So it's like from a
very
character
charismatic performance.
Oh yeah. So like I would say like lump in Sub-Zero, Kano, and Kung Lao as like the best
highlights. Yeah.
Highlights. Sonya's okay.
Yeah.
Liu Kang's okay. He's wasted potential for the most part. So is Raiden.
Yeah.
So is Shang Tsung. Like a lot of these characters feel like wasted potential.
Yes.
Which is unfortunate. Goro, he looks great, but he's not very great in this. He's introduced and murdered. He's introduced and murdered violently in like the worst way possible in the same fucking scene almost.
Oh, he gets stabbed to the face.
So yeah, visuals, certain character moments, like scenes, are great.
Yes.
Like I said, there's a lot of fun in this. There's a lot of times where you're gonna laugh and go, yeah, that's great. But then there's a lot of boring shit that's just happening, and you don't know why.
Now give me your top 3 negatives. Who's your least valuable players? Wait.
I was gonna say I didn't. Yeah, I didn't come up with another good positive.
Give me one more.
The opening scene. Can I say the opening scene? The opening, the like it gets you going.
Yeah.
It reminds me of like 28 days later or 28 weeks later.
Yes.
The opening scene 28 weeks later, where you're just like fucking hearts pumping and shit's going crazy, but then like the rest of the movie is just a slow downhill trend off of that.
You know what else it reminds me of? You're going to hate me for bringing this up yet again.
Signs!
No, not Signs. We'll get to Signs. Batman versus Superman. We're not getting to Signs. We'll get there. Batman versus Superman. So, the opening night I'm there to see it in the theater. I'm a big fan. Superman tattoo, like a nerd. And I hear there's some buzz that's not very good. I'm like, okay.
But that's going to happen with almost every major release.
Right. So I'm sitting in there, and I watch that opening scene where Bruce Wayne is in Metropolis experiencing that battle from the end of Man of Steel.
Fantastic opening.
You're on the edge of your seat.
Don't know what happened the rest of that movie. But
after that, it's like, man, maybe this isn't for everyone, but like I'm on board. To me, this is quality. Like, I'm very excited.
But it almost seemed like they were a lot of the flack that Man of Steel got was because of just the mass destruction and Superman not saving people and that kind of thing.
Right, and I thought the justice showing like
and
the
this
horror
one was
of
almost like self-referential of like, oh, this is what the fans are talking about. So Batman is like them viewing this from like the theater,
and
like just being shocked, And it's like, oh, that's great, because like Batman is right in that movie where it's like we need to do something about this man who can just slaughter.
That's not cool. What just happened up there? Not cool. My buddy.
Yeah, I'm going to.
This had a little bit of that. The opening scene's very gripping, and then
it is. The opening scene is it's emotional almost, and then
or that Star Trek reboot from like 2009, where Kirk's dad.
Oh yeah.
That great opening. But that movie, I would say, was a little even higher throughout. But
I'm not sure if we're even going to get a sequel to this. I mean, it hasn't even broken even yet.
It hasn't?
Its budget was like $55 million, and it's sitting at like $50 million.
Ooh.
And it's been out it's only been out for like the first weekend. Yeah. So it will break even at the very least.
With marketing, etc.
That's the thing. That budget usually doesn't include marketing.
Right.
So a lot of times, you almost have to times that budget by like 0.15 or something like that. But who knows? I mean, if this thing doesn't make any money, or if it makes even just a tiny bit of money, they'd probably be looking at like, oh, sequel's not going to do nearly as well. And
so what's we got your 3 most valuable things from this movie. Give me your 3 big negatives.
The biggest negatives is main protagonist. Cole is boring. He's bland. His character's uninteresting. Like, there are side characters in this movie that have better arcs than he does.
Yes,
and that's a big no-no when it comes to stories like this. Lack of locations, exotic locations, I would say is once again adding to the boring factor. As much fighting and action there is in this, it's kind of boring. Unfortunately,
you think about the old games though. There was always like the fights were cool and fun, but the backgrounds, especially like MK2 and 3. That like all these exotic like.
Well, there's always shit happening in the background. You're like, what is that? Like, what is happening?
What's the story there? Like
you hear there's like at one point they teased the pit.
Yes.
Oh, we didn't talk about the fatality wise. We showed Jax's clap.
Yeah, these motherfuckers work.
Hand clap,
which is great.
Which was
but he was fighting on the pit, and they showed spikes.
Yeah.
Underneath the pit, but nobody got thrown in the pit. It's like a
they went
fucking
through the
reverse.
Trouble of the spikes.
It's a reverse Chekhov's gun.
Yes.
You don't show the pit and not have somebody get thrown in the pit.
And it was you want to see someone thrown in the pit, and it's like a reverse red herring because you don't even see the spikes until he's clapping the guy.
Until
you realize you're not getting it.
Wait, are they in the pit? Oh, he's dead. I guess not. Well, then at least throw his corpse onto it. Like, I don't know. Something.
It was just like an elbow. I'm like, hey, we know that's a thing, but we're not doing it.
basically
like pulling into McDonald's and ordering coffee.
Basically, you just need to make the movie more fun,
Yeah.
a little more cartoony.
Yeah.
You keep the violence, and just better characters. Give people something more to do.
Yeah.
I would say also fix the editing, but that should come naturally with fixing this other stuff. Because the editing is just a result of like them shooting stuff and trying to work with what they got.
Right.
So I mean, sometimes a bad editing job can ruin a movie, but a lot of times a good editing job can save a movie. Look at the original Star Wars. Apparently that was saved in editing.
Yeah. Halloween, the original Halloween.
Oh yeah.
That movie was nothing like what the movie they were going to shoot.
Yeah. And
at all.
There's a lot of extra stuff, and you give it to an editor, and he's like, I'm going to cobble this stuff the right way, and boom, we got a movie.
So the characters, the backgrounds. What's your third?
Characters. Well, mainly Cole as far as characters.
Yeah.
Lack of locations and stuff like that is a big one. And then I think I have to go with editing would probably be the big one.
I think that's the true least valuable performer here in this movie is the bad editing. We've gone into depth to that, so we don't have to. But there's just the cutting, the pacing is so bizarre.
Like at some points, there's no establishing shots. There's no there's so many times where like two people are fighting and you don't know where they are or why they're even fighting.
Consistent, like there's a little gravitas they build at certain points and then just undercut it.
Specifically, it's that montage where they say like you fight this person, and it's intercut with them fighting that person.
Right.
But why? Where are they fighting? How did they even find them?
It's very amateur storytelling.
I assumed all of these people would be highly protected from Shang Tsung.
Right.
Like, why are they all off on their own all of a sudden?
Why is Ermac or Cabal hanging around tar pits?
Ermac should have been in this.
Ermac would have been cool.
Ermac, the most elusive hidden character ever in a Mortal Kombat arcade. You could do something really abstract and make the whole movie about Shang Tsung.
Everything from Shang Tsung's point of view would be super interesting. I would definitely recast him. I think, honestly, I'm trying to think of some this is more a kind of a weird twist. Might have been to be it might be a little too member berries, but I think his name is Robin Shu. He played Liu Kang in the original.
I think that sounds right.
To bring him back as Shang Tsung might be an interesting homage.
Or if you want, just hold your hand over your face and say the actor's name, and then we'll ADR it.
Robin Shu. To bring him back, but this time to play Shang Tsung, but just someone with a little bit more charisma. To me, might have been interesting.
That's the big word. This movie lacks charisma.
There's a lot of missing charisma. Yeah.
There is no it's a lot of stuff happening. But everything feels like a duct tape scene holding this tent of nonsense up.
Yeah.
That's all this feels like. And then there's a tournament coming, but we don't see it. It never comes. Whenever.
That's really an issue. I think Scorpion I would recast. I don't even have a specific actor. And I don't think he's the guy who played him is a bad actor, but I unfortunately know that the actor playing, he was in The Last Samurai. He's a great actor. But knowing that he's 60, I would watch these fight scenes. In the back of my head, it would take me out of the movie because it'd be like,
yeah.
Ooh. Is that stuntman? Because I'm just thinking is he still moving pretty? Maybe that's my own issue that I'm hung up on that. But,
Yeah. Well, so what would you rate this film?
Overall, probably 6 out of 10.
I was gonna say in the 6, maybe high 5s,
okay,
low 6s. Would you recommend it for everyone or just
not for everyone? There are specific people with because
you can't even recommend it as a family film. You can't even say this is fun for the family because it's too violent.
If you got some bad 10-year-old boys, they would probably get a kick out of it.
Yeah, some teenage boys would love watching this in your teens, early teens.
Oh, yeah, and I think that's one of the things where I'm a little okay with it, even though,
if you start thinking cognitively about film, and how things should work in a movie, how things are supposed to work.
Yes.
And then this movie just sort of disregards a lot of it.
It does its own thing.
What makes you show why you need rules. It shows you why you can't just throw shit out of the hat and make it work, or some people still just like it, but a lot of people, they realize.
Yeah.
They may not know what's wrong, but when they leave this movie experience, they're gonna go, that wasn't very good. I don't know why it wasn't very good. But
it feels like a big swing and like a miss. It's I give it credit because it felt like they were putting effort and they got some creative people into it. But ultimately it feels like a miss.
Well, considering the movie was in fucking production hell for 4 or 5 years, combined with its budget, obviously COVID affected its release. I mean, I wonder how this would have done in the theaters had theaters existed.
They might be getting off easy. I think they might get a boost. I think they might get a sequel just out of the fact that there's such a dearth of movies out there right now. There's people on HBO Max where just, they've rewatched the Snyder Cut 4 times and now here's their fresh meat. Kong versus Zilla, Mortal Kombat. I think these movies are going to end up having a bigger audience than they normally would. And more interest than they normally would, just because there's a lack of competition out there right now.
Yeah.
And it might be in their benefit. Maybe they get some more, money and time down the road. Because in a weird way, it does feel like this movie had to have been rushed for some of the editing choices.
Yeah, it's like fucking Game of Thrones, like where it's like you've had 2 years. Why does this look as shitty as it does?
Yeah,
it doesn't make any sense.
Right. It's kind of mind-blowing in that sense, because you feel like if it was you were the director or the editor and you're sitting there, you've had 6 months to look at this film already. It's just been sitting in the can. You're like, let's do the hard cut right there.
Maybe it's like inertia. Like you're so used to working and you're better at it when you're constantly moving, but because of COVID and everything, you're just
picking at it
you're
too
just
much?
lazy and you're just like, what?
Okay.
Whatever. Just like lazily slapping it together. Not.
I think it was either that or overthinking. One of the two. Like,
like they haven't worked so long, they're overthinking it.
Yeah, maybe the hard cut, that would be better. Maybe we got to get to this point.
We need this montage.
We got to get that elbow in there. Yeah, like
we need to show Goro's intestines falling out, like while he falls to the ground.
They're just like really animating that intestine, like just some misplaced priorities, maybe.
Yeah. Well, I would also give this film about a 6 out of 10. I think that's exactly where it stands.
And that seems to be the vibe online as well.
I'm not sure if I'll ever rewatch it after tonight. I'm going to say no. If something happens with the series where like if a new sequel comes out off of this, maybe I'll rewatch it just to refresh my memory. But I don't see this as something I'm ever going to revisit.
I think there's some clips I'll revisit.
Maybe.
Never the whole movie.
Yeah, thank you, YouTube. Thank you for all of your love. Well, I think that probably wraps up. I think we've said almost everything we want to about this film. It's definitely a love-hate relationship. A lot of things it does right, a lot of things it does wrong. Overall, I think the bad outweighs the good.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. That's a sad thing to say, because I think a lot of people were looking forward to this film, especially after the trailer.
Great trailer.
The trailer is one of the best things ever
Whoever made that trailer, bonuses.
So yeah, I mean, this was fun, talking about a movie or a series in general. We kind of drifted off a few times. Hopefully most of that gets edited out.
But anyone who's listened to all this, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Don't judge my nerdiness too harshly. Never let
This is more or less experimental.
Stay tuned for signs.
You know what? If the project turns out flawlessly, I'll just edit out that experimental bit that I just said. I'm just going to act like I knew what I was doing. Yeah, stay tuned for the next episode. Signs.
Our signs discussion.
Signs discussion.
We'll have David. Part signs series.
We'll have David here too for that.
For one of the episodes on signs. That's the new series.
Oh, it's the whole series of signs.
So Mortal Kombat the movie should have been a series.
A movie that also had TV series, legacy of video games, gets about an hour and a half to 2 hours of our time. But Signs gets multiple episodes.
Signs is going to be...
Or we're going to dissect every scene, like every line of dialogue,
I want to do an episode just on M. Night Shyamalan's childhood.
Based on how he designed Signs.
And how it affected Signs. I want to talk about the Greys. The Greys is a type of alien. I want to talk about baby monitors and picking up alien signals with that. Is that plausible?
Is this the hill you want to die on?
Yes.
Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you very much, everyone. Nights of Nostalgia will return, probably.
Thanks.
Anyway, I think that went really well.